Hey everyone, Ben Cooper Radio, episode number 216, where today we are going to be talking about fat loss, hypermobility and training. And I think we've got a really cool question this week, and I'll get stuck in. So today's a short show. We're going to keep it nice and tight as per normal. So this is from Jamie, and she says, just to clarify, I'm a woman. As the name does confuse some people. Well, thanks for the straight up clarification. Let's get stuck in. She says, Ben, firstly, thank you for your brilliant podcast. Not only do they provide me with a wealth of information, but they get me through my long 2-hour commute to work. I'm still catching up on some of your podcasts, so apologies if this has already been asked. Well, Jamie, it hasn't been asked. So, my osteopath has highlighted that I have hypermobility or hypermobile joints and that I will potentially have arthritic joints by the time I'm in my 50s. I'm currently 29. I know I'm overweight at 14.5 stone and 5'4" and pretty unfit after a long series of injuries. Over the past few years, I've struggled with constant shoulder and ankle injuries that my osteopath has put down to this hypermobility. Not only has this constant injuries had a big impact on my progress, but also my motivation has totally gone out the window. I'm a bit of an all or nothing person, which doesn't help. I tend to go from doing nothing to trying to hit the gym 5 to 6 times a week. My osteopath has recommended Pilates to try and strengthen my joints, and I'm looking to get into swimming as a form of exercise, which will hopefully get me moving without injuries. I know my excess weight is probably not helping matters, but my question is, what exercise, nutrition and supplements would you recommend for someone with hypermobility to try and prevent injury and risk of arthritis in the future? So this is an interesting one. Now, Nutrition is the same. Nutrition is the same for what I would recommend for other people. So all the podcasts that you've been listening to, all the advice I give online, all the books that I've written, podcast 117, that would be my go-to. The nutrition isn't going to be any different, and you obviously need to be eating less to lose body fat. Secondly, supplements. Supplements, look, if your nutrition's not there yet, then I probably wouldn't recommend supplements. Well, when it comes down to joints, things like fish oil can be beneficial for kind of joint integrity. So you might look at getting Awesome Supplements Daily Dose, which will support nearly everything. It's got magnesium in it, zinc, vitamin D, fish oil, broad spectrum multivitamin, tons of stuff. So it's going to support your health. And really, at the moment, that's all you'll need. Now, what you really need to know is exercise. Now, this is my opinion. My exercise knowledge only goes so far. That's not my specialty. My specialty is in nutrition. But, when a joint... So let's take a really common tightness, for example, like hamstrings. Hamstrings are very commonly tight in people, not necessarily because they're just tight because of just some black magic, but they're tight because they're holding on to posture. So we talked about this with Rachel the week before last. So quite often muscles are tight because they're trying to support a joint or a structure, and loosening them off doesn't just help. Quite often you'll find, that muscle's really tight, I stretch it, I try and loosen it off, and it just doesn't work. It stays tight. And it's because there's a structural balance going on, and that's tight for a reason. So when you've got really mobile joints, hypermobile, the chances are they're weak because they have an awful lot of range. Whereas some people's joints, let's take a rugby player for example, might be very strong, but only very strong in shortened range because that's their need within their environment. I would personally, now I don't have a massive background of Pilates, and Pilates is obviously similar in ways to yoga. It focuses on the core, so my knowledge only goes so far, so I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I know Pilates. But if you want to strengthen joints, the best way is to bear weight on it. So this might be resistance training, this might be gymnastics. You might find that actually you could be awesome at gymnastics because you've already got the flexibility, you've already got a lot of movement, but actually it's now starting to train strength into that movement. So just imagine being really mobile and being able to crawl along the floor like a panther, but actually train it in a way that you're actually conditioning your muscles and making yourself strong within that range. I think swimming's going to be good, but I would argue how far that's going to take your strength within a joint. I think it would take you so far. So let's say you did swimming for 3, 4, 5 months. I personally kind of feel that the benefits after that would kind of be limited in terms of strength. And again, you need to be loading the joint. Stuff like gymnastics, stuff like calisthenics, balancing, traditional weight training. That is personally the way that I would want you to go. Now, people might differ. Ask different people's opinions. My experience with osteopaths, chiropractors, people around that kind of discipline tend to be a little bit risk adverse by nature. It's just a generalization I've seen. It's not the same for everyone. I know my osteopath is always a bit like, I'm like, so can I train? And he's always like, well, and if I'm training safely with good movement, good posture, doing the right things, and there's no reason why not. Whereas physios tend to be a bit better connected to sport. They seem to work with more clients that are engaged in sport and tend to be a little bit less risk adverse because they're used to dealing with people with sports injuries. So it might be that you ask a physio, but that would be my advice, just knowing the body, knowing and experiencing myself, the education that I have as kind of an exercise professional as well. So yeah, but look, embrace the change. Know that there's lots you can do. Do not write yourself up. Arthritis, for the most part, is an inflammatory condition. So if you control inflammation in the body, you can help control your state of other areas of inflammation. Call it systemic inflammation. So if you are not eating foods that are causing inflammation, if you're not putting too much load on the joints through carrying around too much weight, if you're well hydrated, if you're taking on essential nutrition, I don't see any reason why you should get osteoarthritis or arthritis. So do not get that in your head. And I'm a little bit disappointed that your osteopath has planted that seed. I don't think that should have been done, because now that's at the back of your mind and you're thinking, oh, I could develop this. And does that act as a bit of a placebo for the brain? Does that act as a placebo, or does that control some of our actions? Maybe. Anyway, I hope that's helped, Jamie. Last little point from me. Body Type Nutrition's new group coaching program. So it's not an education program, it's a coaching program. Yes, we educate along the way, but we mainly coach. Fat Loss for Life, that is the program's name, is now open for sign-ups, and we start on the 3rd of September. So if you go to bodytypenutrition.co.uk, right there on the top navigation bar it says Fat Loss for Life. Click on that and you can find out everything that is involved in this program, and you can sign up. And it's an absolute bargain. It's 3 months. It's being coached by me and BTN coach Simon Herbert, and it's only 150 quid for the 3 months. We'll give you diet and nutrition plans. We'll give you information to change. You'll have weekly videos. There'll be live Q&As. There'll be guests coming in and giving their opinion on change and facilitating change. You'll get a free copy of my cookbook, my blueprint, and you'll have access basically 24/7 to get expertise to change. So this is 3 months, and the way I'm looking at it, this is your opportunity to get in the best shape of your life. So if you've been and ahhing a bit, maybe cost has been a factor, for example, all the coaches on the Body Type Nutrition website are incredible, they're fantastic, but working with a coach one-to-one can often be cost prohibitive. So if 50 quid a month for the next 3 months sounds doable, then get on board. The aim of this is to make people really healthy, lose body fat, start to see what you are capable of. Like, let's say you've got a lot of fat to you lose. You might not, and you probably won't lose all that body fat in 3 months, but we will show you how, so that you can spur on your own success moving forward. If you're one of those people that have always thought, you know what, I want to be that transformation on Facebook. I want to be that before and after where everyone goes, wow. And this is the aim of that program. Group coaching with me and Simon Herbert starts the 3rd of September. It's called Fat Loss for Life. and all the information is on the Body Type Nutrition website at the Fat for Life tab. Anyway, that's me out. I hope you've enjoyed today. A little bit of knowledge for you on a Monday. That's Ben Coomer Radio, episode 216. We are out. Ta-ra. Hey everyone, Ben Coomer Radio, episode number... don't know. I'm going to be honest, I don't know. I am currently busy on my UK tour, so I'm getting ahead of myself.